What happened to the princes in the tower? A true crime enigma. Have you ever walked through an old place, its stones worn smooth by centuries, and felt the weight of stories it holds? I remember visiting a castle once, its walls towering and cold, and as I traced my fingers along the ancient masonry, I wondered about the lives that had passed through those halls. Who had stood where I stood? What secrets did they carry, now lost to time? That day, my thoughts turned to the Tower of London, a fortress steeped in blood and intrigue, where two young boys princes of England vanished without a trace in the 15th century. The princes in the tower, Edward V and his brother Richard of York, are at the heart of one of history's most enduring true crime mysteries, a tale that haunts British history with its unanswered questions. Who was responsible for their disappearance? Was it murder, exile, or something else entirely? Today, we'll step into the shadowed corridors of the tower, weave through the tangled web of the Wars of the Roses, and chase the truth behind this unsolved case, exploring a historical mystery that echoes through the ages like a whisper in the dark. Let's begin in the summer of 1483, in the heart of medieval England, a land torn by the Wars of the Roses, a brutal feud between two rival houses, Lancaster and York, for the English throne. London is a bustling city, its streets alive with merchants, minstrels, and the clatter of horse-drawn carts. But beneath the surface lies tension, as loyalties shift like sand. The Tower of London looms over the Thames, a fortress both royal and grim, its whitewashed walls hiding dungeons and secrets. Here, two young brothers, Edward V, aged 12, and Richard of York, aged 9, are lodged, awaiting Edward's coronation. Edward, the rightful king after his father Edward IV's death in April 1483, is a golden-haired boy, raised to rule with wisdom and grace. Richard, his younger brother, is quieter, a shadow to Edward's light, but no less cherished. They are the heirs of the House of York, symbols of hope for a dynasty battered by war. But their uncle, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, has other plans. As their protector, he moves them to the tower, claiming it's for safety. Yet, as weeks pass, the boys are seen less often, their laughter fading from the courtyards. By autumn, they are gone, vanished into one of British history's darkest true crime mysteries, an unsolved case that has puzzled historians for over 500 years. The Wars of the Roses set the stage for this tragedy, a conflict that began in the 1450s when the weak rule of King Henry VI of the House of Lancaster sparked rebellion. The Yorkists, led by Edward IV, seized the throne in 1461, but the war raged on, a cycle of battles, betrayals, and executions. Edward IV's reign brought fleeting peace, his charisma and military prowess holding England together. But his sudden death in 1483, at age 40, left a vacuum. His heir, Edward V, was too young to rule, and the kingdom teetered on the edge of chaos. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, Edward IV's brother, stepped in as Lord Protector, tasked with guiding his nephew. A skilled warrior and loyal Yorkist, Richard was trusted by Edward IV, but his ambitions simmered beneath a stern exterior. The court was a nest of intrigue, with nobles like the Woodvilles, Edward V's maternal family vying for power. This turbulent backdrop, rich with political scheming, frames the princes in the tower as pawns in a deadly game, their disappearance a historical mystery that reflects the brutality of British history. Let's imagine a young servant named Thomas, a fictional page in the tower in 1483, to bring this moment to life. Thomas, barely 15, serves in the royal apartments, carrying trays of bread and wine to the prince's chambers. He sees Edward V, a boy with a king's poise, reading Latin by candlelight, and Richard, giggling as he tosses a ball against the stone walls. Thomas admires their courage, trapped in a fortress far from their mother, Elizabeth Woodville, who seeks refuge in Westminster Abbey. He overhears guards whispering of Richard, the Duke, whose men patrol the tower's gates. One night, Thomas glimpses the princes at a window, their faces pale in the moonlight, and feels a chill, as if the tower itself holds its breath. Days later, their chambers are empty, the boys gone. Thomas, questioned by grim-faced men, knows nothing but fears the worst. His story, though imagined, captures the human heart of the princes in the tower, a window into the fear and loyalty of those who serve them, a thread in the tapestry of true crime and historical mysteries that define British history. What happened to the princes? The most enduring theory points to murder, with Richard, Duke of Gloucester, as the prime suspect. In June 1483, Richard declared Edward V and Richard illegitimate, claiming their parents' marriage was invalid due to Edward IV's prior betrothal. He seized the throne as Richard III, crowned in July, and the princes were never seen publicly again. Contemporary chroniclers like Dominic Mancini, an Italian visitor to London, wrote that the boys were withdrawn to the inner apartments and seen no more. By 1485, rumors of their death spread, with French chronicler Philippe de Comines alleging Richard ordered their killing. The traditional account, shaped by Tudor historians like Thomas More in the 1510s, claims Richard had them smothered in their sleep, their bodies hidden in the tower. More names Sir James Tyrrell, a loyalist, as the killer, acting on Richard's command. This narrative, cemented by Shakespeare's Richard III, paints Richard as a villain, his ambition drowning the princes in blood. The motive is clear. As long as the boys lived, they threatened his crown, rallying Yorkist rebels. This theory, rooted in true crime, dominates British history, yet it's not without flaws, a historical mystery clouded by Tudor propaganda and missing evidence. Another theory spares Richard, suggesting the princes survived or met a different fate. Some historians, like Alison Weir, argue Richard, a devout man, wouldn't kill his nephews, fearing divine wrath. Instead, he may have sent them abroad, perhaps to Flanders, to live in obscurity. A 1490s pretender, Perkin Warbeck, claimed to be Richard of York, escaping the tower, and was supported by European nobles, though Henry VII, the Tudor king, branded him a fraud and executed him in 1499. Another pretender, Lambert Simnel, posed as Edward V's cousin, suggesting Yorkist hopes lingered. These claims, though dubious, hint at a possibility. The princes were spirited away, their fate an unsolved case. Alternatively, others point to Henry VII, who defeated Richard III at Bosworth in 1485, founding the Tudor dynasty. If the princes lived in 1485, they threatened Henry's throne, and he may have ordered their deaths to secure his rule. No evidence ties Henry directly, but his silence on the prince's fate raises questions. This theory, less popular, shifts the true crime lens from Richard to the Tudors, adding layers to the historical mysteries of British history. A third theory explores natural causes or neglect. The 15th century was perilous for children, even royals, with diseases like plague and smallpox rampant. The princes, confined in the tower's damp, cold walls, may have succumbed to illness, their deaths hushed to avoid unrest. Or, neglected by guards after Richard's focus shifted to rebellion, they could have starved or perished in an accident. This theory, though less dramatic, fits the era's grim realities. In 1674, workers renovating the tower found 2 child skeletons under a staircase, believed to be the princes, buried hastily. Tests in 1933 confirmed their age around 12 and 9, but no cause of death was determined, and DNA analysis, proposed in recent decades, awaits royal approval. These bones, now in Westminster Abbey, support the murder theory but don't rule out natural death, keeping the princes in the tower an unsolved case. a true crime enigma in British history. Let's delve deeper into the evidence or lack thereof. No contemporary records confirm the prince's death, only rumors. Mancini, writing in 1483, noted their withdrawal but not their fate. More's account, vivid with details, was written decades later under Tudor rule, biased against Richard III. The skeletons, while compelling, lack definitive proof other children died in the Tower, and medieval burials were common. Court documents from Richard's reign are silent, and Henry VII's records avoid the issue, suggesting a cover-up by either king. The absence of bodies or confessions fuels the historical mysteries, making the princes in the Tower a true crime puzzle without a clear solution. Like the Library of Alexandria's lost scrolls, the prince's fate is a gap in our knowledge, a wound in British history that invites speculation. The political context deepens the mystery. The Wars of the Roses, spanning 1455–1487, were a brutal chess game, with nobles like the Woodvilles, Stanleys, and Nevilles shifting allegiances. Richard III, loyal to his brother Edward IV, faced threats after 1483 Woodville plots, Lancastrian rebels, and foreign intrigue. Killing the princes, if he did, was ruthless but strategic, eliminating rivals. Yet, his failure to display their bodies, as Henry VII later did with enemies, suggests doubt. Henry, consolidating power in 1485, needed the princes dead to secure his throne, but his silence, unlike his propaganda against Richard, implies he knew little. The Tudors, like the Ptolemies of ancient Egypt, shaped history's narrative, casting Richard as a monster to justify their rule. This manipulation, akin to Alexandria's lost history, clouds the true crime story, leaving the princes in the Tower an unsolved case. Let's return to Thomas, our page, to humanize the tragedy. Months after the princes vanish, Thomas serves in the Tower's kitchens, haunted by their empty chambers. He hears whispers, some say the boys are dead, others that they sailed to France. His sister Joan, a seamstress, urges him to forget, but Thomas can't shake Edward's kind smile or Richard's boyish laugh. One night, he sneaks to the prince's room, finding a forgotten toy horse, its wood chipped. He hides it, fearing questions, and prays for their safety. Years later, under Henry VII, Thomas hears of Warbeck, the pretender, and wonders if Richard lives. His hope fades when Warbeck is hanged, and Thomas, now a father, tells his children of the boys, a tale of loyalty and loss. Thomas's story, though fictional, weaves the princes in the Tower into the lives of ordinary folk, a true crime mystery that touched hearts across British history, a historical mystery echoing ancient Egypt's lost knowledge. What does this mystery teach us? The princes in the Tower are more than a true crime tale, a mirror, reflecting our struggle with truth, power, and memory. Their disappearance, like the Library of Alexandria's scrolls, is a loss we mourn, a gap we fill with stories. The murder theory speaks to our fear of betrayal, the survival theory to our hope, the natural death theory to our acceptance of fate. Each, like a chronicle, shapes our view of British history, yet the truth eludes us, an unsolved case that invites reflection. The prince's story challenges us to question narratives, as we do with Alexandria's lost history, to seek justice for the voiceless, to preserve our past against time's erosion. In 2025, as historians debate DNA tests on the 1674 skeletons, we stand on Thomas's shoulders, asking his questions. Will we learn the prince's fate, or will the Tower keep its secrets? The answer matters less than the asking, for in questioning, we honor British history's legacy. The princes in the Tower, like the Nazca lines or Alexandria's scrolls, are a bridge between worlds, uniting us with those who wept under the same stars. Their mystery is a gift, a flame we must tend, ensuring its light shines for generations. As we near the end, let's hold the princes close. Their shadows in the tower, yet their story lives in us. Their guardians, like Thomas, didn't know we'd seek them, but they hoped anyway, trusting history to speak. That hope inspires us to question, to seek, to dream. So, what truths will you chase? What story will you tell? The princes in the tower are gone, but their spirit endures. In every mystery we unravel. That night in the castle, when I felt its stones, I was silent. Now, I'd say the point is to keep listening, to keep searching, to keep remembering. The princes in the tower are England's deepest wound, and though their fate eludes us, their memory endures. What do you think? What do the princes mean to you? Have you felt the pull of true crime, the urge to uncover British history's unsolved cases? Share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us what inspires you, what mysteries you want to explore. If you're captivated by historical mysteries and the shadows of British history, subscribe, hit that bell, and join us for more tales weaving past and present. The princes in the tower are ours to carry forward. Thank you for journeying through London's shadows with us. Until next time, keep chasing the secrets locked in time.